Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Harika. So in this video, I'm going to talk about browser migration tool. So let me just give you the pointers that I'm going to highlight in this video. So these are all the pointers that I'm going to talk about. So we all know that there's a update from Microsoft that it's going to deprecate Internet Explorer in this coming June 2022, right? So as that being the requirement, all the projects which are already developed in Internet Explorer has a crucial demand now to be switched into any of the other supporting browsers. So with that, if the project is a huge project and we have so many XAMLs inside it, so how we can use a particular tool that will definitely help us to reduce the work to some extent at least. So that is being the requirement. I've come up with this video where we can see how UiPath browser migration tool can help us to reduce work to some extent by converting the whole projects into a different browser supporting automations. So if you wanted to know right from the scratch, I'm going to talk everything about the pointers that I have mentioned on the slide. So firstly, this browser migration tool will help you to migrate your whole project into a different browser, so that supports over there. And till what extent it's going to be helpful, that I'm going to talk about. And what are the gray areas that you still have to go ahead and you have to write the selectors right from the scratch. Those are the things that I'm going to talk about. And the most important one is where to download this tool from and how to use it. And while using that particular tool, what are the properties that you should be aware of. And let's say if you're having a whole project that you wanted to move from IE to Edge or IE to Chrome, in that case, while doing this, while applying the browser migration tool on this particular code, can you still keep the backup of your code by using that particular tool? So how you can do that, I'm going to show that part as well. And while all this being done, I'll run you through a short demo so that you'll get everything, a very clear picture of how you can do it by end of this video. So without any delay, so firstly I'll show you how you can actually download this file, this tool from. Okay, so for that, you just have to head to your orchestrator. So just go to your cloud.uipath.com particular or whatever that orchestrator tenant you're having it. So here you can see there's a small icon, help. Just click on it, and once after you're there, you can see the feature download. So click on show all. You can see there's a tool called browser migration tool. So just click on this, that will download a zip file to you. Just extract the zip, and you can see UiPath.conversion tool. Okay, so this is a tool that we are going to use that will help us to migrate the project. Okay, so we don't need all of them, but just this tool. So how you can use this particular tool? Before to that, let me just show you here. I just have a small project which I just builded by using the most common used UI activities while we are doing the user interface automation. Okay, so definitely we'll come across open browser, type into click, attach browser, and then kill process, right? So these are the most commonly used activities. So now firstly I'll show you how we can use this process as it is, how this works, and then after using a particular tool, how this will be converted into a different browser supporting automation, and till what extent. Okay, so for that, I'm just using a normal Flipkart application. So let's look into this here. Under my open browser, initially I just built it on IE. So this is my IE browser, and then I'm gonna do some type into, and then I'm just doing a click. After that, I'm attaching some more tab window. So just this, that's also taken in IE, and I'm doing a click, and then after that I'm gonna kill the process. Okay, so I'm gonna kill the process. So after that, let me, okay, so I'll just debug the file. We can see how this process actually runs in the IE. So it just opens the Flipkart, it types for laptop, it clicks on a particular link. So where we have an attached browser, so it goes and click on this buy, and then it kills the process. So we cannot see IE anymore here. So that is how I have built it this, right? So this is my requirement. So now I wanted to shift this whole project into Edge. So how we can do that? So firstly, I told you I have this tool, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna first click on this tool. So once after you double click, you'll get this particular window. So here you have to select the project. Okay. So what is my project name that I'm using here? Browser migration project. So I'm gonna select it. So just go to your particular project and select that browser migration project. So here, if you just observe, it has an option to include subfolders. So let's say under main, I have one more XAML, and if I don't want it to switch that particular folder, then I can just take it off, and it will take only the main thing, and it will and you can just select that particular XAML over here. Okay, so if you just include subfolders, it will change the whole project into that particular whatever the destination browser you wanted to change it as. So what's my source browser here? I wanted to shift from IE into Edge. I wanted to change this into Edge. And also one more prerequisite that you have to consider here is, let me write it over here. So you have to consider here is, let's say if you wanted to move this into an Edge, you should have an extension enabled over here in the Edge browser. So how can you do that? So we all know, just go to tools here. Here you can see Edge, right? So just click on it and you can get the extension. Okay, so you can just you have to restart your browser once after you get the extension. Okay, so if you're facing any issues in that part, you can just disable or remove that particular extension from Edge that's already there, and you can just enable it again from the tools. That will work. So make sure that you restart your browser, only then it will be the changes will be reflected. Otherwise you will get an error that it is not able to communicate with that particular browser because there is no extension. So that is one prerequisite that you have to consider. Let me, yeah, so that's one main prerequisite that you have to keep in your mind for whatever the destination browser you're doing the automation. And what is this replace null browser type? So let's say if any of your browser type is mentioned as null, it will replace that as well if you check this particular checkbox. And as I said you, if you keep this create backup files, then definitely your whatever the backup files that you are creating, let's say if I wanted to move from IE to Edge, my files which are already there in IE will be restored. That will be given as a backup. So I'll show you where you can check for the backup files as well, and this will override the backup files. So let's say if you're redoing this automation, so after moving from IE to Edge, if I redo, like if I migrate it again from Edge to Chrome, then it will override the previous backup file. So that's what this particular checkbox is for. And enable logging and open log file. So basically whenever we are doing this particular thing, I'll show you how you can check the logs. So just click on start. So it says conversion completed successfully. This is the log file that it gets generated. So if you see, it will show you how many changes have happened, how many activity types, what are everything in a form of a JSON format. Okay, so you can just see here what are the changes as well. So UI open browser, so what is the original value IE, and it has changed to Edge. So even the selector as well, this was the originally it was this, right? So this was changed to, so if you just see here, IE doesn't have an option or an attribute called app. Okay, but here if you just see, we have changed it to Edge, right? So So it gets changed from IE to MS Edge, right? So this is how you can just see the how selectors are getting changed in this particular log file and everything about it. So initially the kill process also we can see originally we have I explore and this is MS Edge. So these are the different things that you can just check, and this file will be stored into your project folder. Let me just show you. So that is done, right? So if you just refresh here, you can see this is the JSON file that I was talking about. So this is the file that we just have gone through. So this contains all the conversion formats and what are the selectors that got changed and everything. And once after that's done, I'm also talking about the backup here. So if you see, we have the backup file. So this is the backup file where you will actually see the selectors for the browser IE, and this will be for the browser Edge. So here, if you just observe, the browser type is still IE. We cannot see the change because it is refreshed, but still we are in the same XAML. Okay, but still, if you see, I'll show you how you can change see the changes. But before to that, I'll just run this process, and you can see this gets opened in Edge. I'll debug. So if you see, it got opened in Edge. Perfect, right? So the process has finished execution. And now I'll show you, I'll close this and I'll open the same main.xaml. Here, if you go to open browser, the browser type is Edge, right? And also you can see the difference in the selectors. msedge.exe and app is getting added here. So this is our the backup file is our XAML file, which is corresponding to IE. So if you go, browser type is IE, right? And here you can't see that app attribute. And also if you go to the attached browser, here also it will be browser type will be Edge, and in the kill process it will be MS Edge. Here in the kill process it will be I explore, right? It's just a whole process got changed. And now let me talk about one more crucial point here. So we have seen what is a browser migration tool, how to do, and let's talk about this. Till what percentage it can be useful. So if you see, it's a basic application, right? So if this application is feasible, like if it's compatible not with not too many activities, and if you're not using a particular selector attribute, if it's not changing, then definitely it will be most feasible. But let me talk about some pointers over here. Let's say if you're using a part of an selector or as an attribute or as an input for the next activity, then definitely you have to make sure that the feasibility here. Okay, and the most important thing is, let me go to the documentation. Excuse me. Here, if you just observe the pop-ups and the alerts, right? This if the source process has selector starting with WND, which is Windows tag. Okay, so if it is having a Windows tag, then definitely you have to do everything from the scratch, because pop-ups are definitely if you just observe here, which are rendered differently by IE, Chrome and Explorer. So pop-ups and alerts are different with respect to the browsers. So this browser migration tool will not help you to convert or migrate the selectors for the pop-ups and the alert. There at that point you definitely have to build the selectors right from the scratch for pop-ups and alerts. And in any case, if you're having any HTML tags or something which is deviating between the two different browsers, that also comes under feasibility. You just have to make sure if it is supporting or not with respect to different browser. So these are the things that you have to consider. These are the some gray areas that you have to look into, and you have to make sure if it is compatible or not when you do a switching. But most probably like 60 to excuse me, 60 to 70% of the cases, definitely you can migrate your project with the help of a browser migration tool. And we have seen this and how to use it, and yes, we have seen how to keep a backup of the code as well. So let's quickly do one more thing. So now this code is there with respect to IE, right? With respect to Edge. So now I'll just apply this thing into from Edge to Chrome, and I'll not override the backup files. And then we'll start. It's done. Okay, so Edge to Chrome we have converted. Let's do a refresh. So if you just observe, we've got two. So the what is the second one contains? It should contain Edge, right? This contains Edge and this contains IE, right? This contains IE. And what is the latest one that contains? Let me come over here. This should open or run my process in Chrome. Perfect, right? So this is how we can actually do apply a browser migration tool, how we can keep the backup, and how we can use this particular log to check what are the different values that it has changed. And now let's close this and see. We should get everything in the Chrome. Browser type as Chrome, and kill process should be Chrome. So this is perfect, right? So we have seen almost everything. All the things that you have to consider is this part. This is the gray area. So this might not be converted, partially been converted. So you have to just check the feasibility, and the pop-ups definitely cannot be converted. So you just have to build it right from the scratch. And we have seen enough demos of it, how you can keep the backup and everything. And the most important prerequisite, make sure that you enable the extension in whatever the browser that you are switching your automation into. So I hope these are the inputs that I have on this browser migration tool from UiPath. So if you were also trying something of this sort, do let me know in the comments. And if you're facing any questions apart from what all I have shown, also do comment. I'll try to check it out if I can get a solution for you. And do like the videos and also subscribe to my channel for more interesting learnings. Thank you so much for watching.